Okay, we're good to go.
We're good to go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jennifer Bryant from Practical Family, and this is
Sarah Jonsgaard from Denver, Colorado.
So I'm actually in Honolulu, Hawaii right now. So this Zoom thing is just amazing. It's the first time using this, so bear with me as we kind of navigate our way through this system. And what Sarah's going to do is, as people join the meeting will also be recorded, and we'll be able to post it on our social media and sites and things after. But she's also going to mute people as they join, so that there's not a whole lot of background noise. So, anything else to add to that, Sarah?
Nope, I think that's good. I'm just excited.
All right. So. So Sarah and I first met each other when she and her family lived here in Honolulu. And our kids were young at the time. They were babies, but since then they have moved to Colorado. And but she and I got reconnected through social media, mostly because I saw her and was experiencing her story as she was trying to figure out mostly the health issues that were happening with her and her family. And if you've had the chance to read her first article that's published on practicalfamily.org on our site, it's called How Real Food Revitalized My Family. And she has started to talk about her testimony with eating just different foods that she didn't realize was affecting her system in an adverse way, and what steps she took to change all of that. So today we're going to be talking about real food for real families based in her testimony, and also her next article that is coming out hopefully by the end of today on practicalfamily.org called Eating Real Food. So what we're going to talk today about what it means to eat real food and why this matters, why this even is an issue for families. From our standpoint, practicalfamily.org was a blog that I started last year, and our tagline is to build foundations and healthy homes. So this is such an integral part of what I'm seeking to do in my own message, and encouraging people, building strong families with values and things like that, but also healthy homes, that we're healthy emotionally, that we're healthy physically. So we'll talk today about our own journeys with that. So Sarah, what is it that you are most excited to talk about today?
I am really excited about having just this real, honest conversation with food. I feel like, there's so much out there about food, and I don't feel like sometimes that we're getting real answers. We're getting to the bottom of people's issues, or we're masking things. So I'm really excited about addressing some issues that I think are at the tops of mom and dad's list of things that they're experiencing, and how food can maybe help them and address those areas. I'm just excited about connecting in a really real way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I know that I've been on my own, I wouldn't call it a transformative journey, because I've tried different things over the years just to kind of keep, at first it was like, oh, what do I do to keep my weight down? What do I do to, but I never really thought about until I got married and started having kids, that noticing how foods affected my body, affected my mood, affected my kids' moods, for the love. I have this, my son is 7 now, but he's got all of this energy. And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't notice that he was crazier after he had, eaten not just sugar, but a whole lot of, gluten-based thing. Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole, like, what foods are bad or anything like that, but it's like, what it takes for us to really, as mothers, to really think about what it's going to take for real change in our families, So, so I'm just going to go through a series of just questions that we've kind of mulled over in the past. Why do you think families have such a hard time changing the way that they eat?
I think, well, for us, what I experienced when we started to make this transition, when we started to notice, we had these chronic health conditions that I, referenced in the first article. When we started making this change, it felt debilitating, honestly. Like, as a mom today, when do you feel like you ever have the time to spare to kind of go through all the ingredients on all the labels, and who knows how to read a label anymore, really. And so I think it's just, it can cause this debilitating, you just kind of shut down. It's overwhelming. And there's so many different opinions out there about, do we do this paleo diet? Do we go vegan? Do we go vegetarian? And so there's so many conflicting things out there that I think it makes it really hard for people to navigate, to understand what's happening, unless they have somebody who's kind of been there before, who can help them out, and hold their hand and walk with them in this journey. So
yeah. So we need each other. We need community to encourage us. Amen, sister. I mean, it's hard to figure out how to do things on your own when it comes to this. I mean, but even in my personality, I will look at things, I will research things on my own as much as I can as a mom, but the real true motivation behind getting me to actually make change has a lot to do with the support around me. And even if like my husband's not quite there with me, or he just, he's not sure about this new change I want to make, I need my girlfriends, and I need to see that other people are doing this. So it's important that we connect here as moms on that. And that's the whole point of even this meeting today.
Totally. And I think something to add to that really quick too, Jennifer, is that, I found you have to have a really strong why if you're going to change your diet, because there's a lot of, it's going to take some maneuvering. It's going to take some learning and some growing and stretching as a family. And you have to have a really strong why you're wanting to do it. If you just want to do it for fun, you're probably not going to stick with it. But if you're doing it for a why because you are investing in learning and you realize that you could have a greater impact on your health, changing maybe your family's history of, some chronic disease, or if you have an issue like my son, he is the same way, he has ADHD, and we noticed that certain foods caused behavior in him that we didn't like. He got to a place where he couldn't control himself physically, and this was triggered by certain foods. So you got to have that strong why. So I encourage anybody before they start to kind of jump into this journey to really think about why they want to do it and why it's important for their family. And I feel that those families will be far more successful in the long run if they start with that.
Absolutely. All right, ladies, start to figure out your why as we talk. I love it. In the next article that we have that we're coming out with called Eating Real Food, I just want to talk about a couple things you mentioned on there. You mentioned loving donuts and tacos. Yes. Amen. I'm right there with you. And I was thinking, it's hard not to villainize certain foods and go all or nothing. Like, I got to cut out absolutely everything if I'm going to be on track. And the one time I cheat or I do this thing, I got to start all over. And we get really hard on ourselves, right? I know I do. But you talked about having that 80-20 balance, like 20% of me is donuts and tacos and 80% of me is whole foods and great things. So do you feel like that keeping that in mind helps your, I don't know if you call it your guilt factor, that or whatever feeling comes into play for many women?
Yeah. This is real life. You only get one life, and I am not going to pass up on some yummy desserts. I want to enjoy life. And, as I've gotten into this journey of eating better food, real food, if this is such a thing, I actually treat myself to better desserts, so maybe sometimes now I eat like chocolate covered almonds, or I eat, some yummy dessert maybe from Whole Foods, so I know it's made with better whole ingredients. But I think it's so important that we learn to separate this relationship that a lot of us have with food that includes the word guilt. I think it's just learning about some really good, simple food principles about what real food is, and then being okay to know that it's okay to eat some of those things, because if you don't, you'll eventually give in. You'll eventually binge, and it'll be a lot worse. So you might as well reward yourself every once in a while. Enjoy that croissant, enjoy that donut, knowing that you're doing a really good job, on the other hand, balancing it with other things.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just like one of my favorite desserts to eat, actually, just last night we had family and people over, and my sister brings home Ted's chocolate halpia pie, which is like a
Yes.
huge thing in Hawaii. It's anyway, I won't go into describing it right now, lest people, but it's just an amazing dessert, and it's, dairy and cream and carbs and whatever, but I let myself have a piece, and that was it. I mean, I'm not really big into counting calories or anything, but I have been using this app lately that helps me to keep track of the things that I'm eating, so that I know, okay, I'm staying within this, but I'm also exercising too. So, what? I mean, it was good. I was done with my calories for the day, and and I'm good. But I knew that the rest of the day I had been eating veggies and fruits and things like that too. But yeah. Indulgence doesn't have to, like you said, debilitate us, but when we know we're actively and consistently making good choices, we don't have to feel that way.
Yeah, listen to your body. If you eat it and you feel terrible, then don't eat it again.
Yeah.
And it's learning to separate yourself sometimes from that emotional connection you feel of like, oh, dessert's there, so I feel compelled, like I have to eat it. It's just learning to listen to your body to say, I don't have to eat that. Just because it's after dinner doesn't mean I have to have dessert, And if you ate hapia pie and all that dairy made you feel really bloated, then hey, maybe find something that's not dairy based the next time. Maybe your body's telling you something you need to listen to. But yeah, I'm not passing up donuts no matter what. I just will eat more veggies so I can make up for it.
Yes, amen. Yeah, listening to your body is really, really the big takeaway, I think, right now. That's awesome. So back to our wild and crazy children. So I also have a stubborn boy, and I often have to kind of bargain with him to eat the good stuff or try new foods, or a lot of times I say, okay, well, eat that, or you don't get this, or you don't get dessert. As if he's entitled to dessert every night, right? And I have to remember that too. No, we don't have to do that. But I reason with him enough, and he knows that I'm going to hold the line at a certain point where you need to try everything I put in front of you, and I will consistently put good foods in front of you so that you get accustomed to it. That's how they learn to like broccoli. That's how they learn to like. Oh my gosh, I used your idea for your recipe for Brussels sprouts the other night. I did like a maple glaze on them. It was, and everybody loved them, and the kids loved them and everything. So with your kids, did you completely replace their fruits and veggies with the capsules from Juice Plus, or do you still require them to eat actual food? Can you explain how that works, how the Juice Plus capsules work with getting your family into that motion of eating real food?
Yeah. So Juice Plus is just whole foods in a capsule, and I know we've talked about this kind of in the last article, but that Juice Plus really became this catalyst for our family. It started, once we started consuming and eating Juice Plus, it started doing all these amazing changes in us. And that's kind of where this spurred us to crave more water, crave more healthy foods. But it never is going to be something that's going to replace what we're eating. So it's a great way to bridge the gaps. It's like an insurance policy. So every day you're not going to get that variety of 30 different fruits and vegetables and berries every day. So this just helps fill in the gaps. The days when I eat extra donuts, I love knowing that I took my Juice Plus. If if one of the kids is being extra picky, or if they're feeling a little under the weather, we know we're getting in that Juice Plus, because it's so hard to get them to eat when they're not feeling well, let alone when they're feeling well. Sometimes it's tricky. So, we'll never replace it, but it's just that for me, it was that place that helped me replace that mom guilt, back to that word of guilt again when it comes to food. But, we feel like we can do a lot of things well, but when it came to food, I didn't feel like I could always do that well because my kids have an opinion, right? They have a choice, and they have their own will and what they want to do. So, we
completely squash that, right? But you also want to, you're the mom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you want to grow up big and strong, and you can't get sick. You know, we don't want you getting sick. We want to be able to do things as a family, and we need to be able to kind of live on some sort of schedule. And so, we give them the alternative. If you don't want to eat all these fruits and veggies in their whole form, then you can take these gummies every day. So they take 6 gummies, and they're super yummy and delicious. My husband and I, typically steal them from their bags, their gummy bags at night when we want a little snack. So yeah, it'll never replace. It's just that bridge. We're bridging the gap in what they're getting and what they should be getting every day.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's talk about what we were talking about, an issue that really resonated with me before we started the video. Can you tell them about the 3 common family issues that you're finding? Talk about living as a practical family and the things that we experience a lot. What are those 3 things that you hear all the time from other families?
Yeah. So the 3 things that are most common that people come to me and say, hey, we need help. Can we treat this or get help with this with food? Constipation is huge. This is a really common issue. And, I know a lot of families whose kids live on Miralax. And, we were actually advised by our doctor at one point, and he just said, I've got patients who've been on Miralax for years, we have no concerns. And, to each his own. And I understand that there is a time and a season that maybe somebody needs intervention like that. But
sure. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely know that food can help just that common constipation that kids typically have. And how do we do that? We get more water into them, and we get more whole foods. So this has been where Juice Plus has really helped us, because we're getting more whole foods in through Juice Plus when we're finding that we're not able to do it on our own, which in turn has led us to drink more water. I can't tell you how or why Juice Plus helps you crave more water, but it just does this thing inside of your body. Juice Plus has this thing called the Children's Health Study, and they studied over 1 million children. And that's one of the common things they hear, is that children start to crave more whole foods and drink more water, miss less days of school, visit the doctor less when they're getting on it, because we know whole foods are so important. So constipation is a big one. Nobody wants to deal with that. It's painful. And so that frequent sickness, how many of us go into hibernation for just chunks of time? And, we have 3 kids. We don't have time for one kid to get hit and then it just rolls through the family, and we're like, we'll see you in 6 weeks. So, it's been clinically proven that the more you flood your body with whole foods, the stronger your immune system is, and you can build up your immune system. So that's why, with constipation, with sickness, picky eating, this is a really big one. We were just talking about, how do we assert our will, but also respect our kids' will? How do those marry together? So, that was my desire in doing this with you, is how do we practically help families meet some of these really common needs that I'm seeing and that I get questions about all the time, in a way that I believe is honoring the way that God designed our bodies and designed us as people. And so it's crazy what food can do. It's crazy what just whole foods can do in your body, rebuilding you on a cellular level. It's never too late. So
yes. Oh, amen. Every time I have actively chosen to go back to eating mostly fruits and vegetables and protein, cut out right now, actually, since before the beginning of the year, I've cut out dairy and sugar and carbs, like bread, basically. And my body feels amazing. I mean, that's the biggest thing, really. But then, like, the kids, because I don't feel what they're feeling in their little bodies inside, and they, for the most part, don't even really know what they're feeling. It's really hard for me to gauge what's going good and what's not, except when I notice that they're constipated or when they're sick. Mm-hmm. And honestly, my kids have not gotten sick in a while, knock on, but it's mostly because we don't just allow them to have just anything, Halloween was crazy. With the candy, right? I actually posted something on Practical Family about how to steal your kids' Halloween candy.
Yes.
Basically, like how how to negotiate with them enough to where, okay, let's trade candy for this, so that they're not putting all the sugar in their body. So I take it and give something else to them that was worth their while, right? Valentine's Day is coming up, and they're probably going to come home with a lot of candy hearts and things like that. But just seeing the effect of sugar on them, it makes them tired. It makes them, so. So, I don't want to, a lot of people probably already know this. I don't want to preach to the choir for too long. But when we put real things into our body and we want to begin to cook that way, or to not eat out as much, oh my goodness, when we're not eating out, it saves us a ton of money, but it also affects our mood and things. Like, all I want sometimes though is like a double cheeseburger. But after I eat it, I'm done for the day. I'm done, and it doesn't help that our family restaurant has fries, and stop with the fries.
But you have delicious tacos, so that
we do. But then, so then the picky eating with the kids too. Tell me again how Juice Plus helps to curb that in the kids.
So your taste buds kind of go through this cycle where they're recreating themselves. So what we found is once we started introducing Juice Plus into our family, it was just probably like a month or two in, we started noticing, in particular, our middle son started asking for foods that he had always said no to. He was 3 at the time, and he wouldn't eat things, but then he started asking for like a clamshell of raspberries or asking for mushrooms somewhere at the farmer's market. It's not like he'll eat everything we put in front of him, and it's not like my kids aren't still picky. It's not a cure-all, but it's as you're recreating and rebuilding your cells. So it's true what they say, you literally are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're putting all that whole food in, that's what your body's using as building blocks. That's what you're rebuilding your taste buds with, is that whole food. So as you put it in, it changes your preference. It's like, if I go and binge eat a tub of ice cream, well, first of all, I'm probably going to not feel very good, but you get that craving, that sugar gives you a high. And then that's when you start to see that pattern, right? That every day you get that like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're binging the chocolate drawer. It's the same thing. If you're flooding your body with whole foods, you'll start to crave more whole foods. So we have helped, not only has it helped us to bridge the gap, but we're starting to see our family crave better foods. Like my husband, let's talk about picky eaters, and that's hard because I don't want to mom my husband, but I've seen his taste change and how he's totally on board now with this. And he's like, we do this thing called a Shred 10, and it's basically just this really awesome detox on our body for 10 days. And every time we do it, he says, we should eat this all the time. We should go plant-based all the time. And I see, every time we do a new Shred 10, the effects stay longer and longer, where I notice that we're in this pattern of not picking up caffeine again, not picking up gluten, not getting back. But even those little smidges of dairy, because dairy is something that we've tried to cut out for the most part for health reasons. So yeah, it's, part of the picky eating too, I want to throw this out there as a practical tip, is have conversations with your kids, read blogs like Practical Family, read these articles to get these tips, because, I can get my family to eat better when we can have an open conversation, when it's not me bossing them around, but it's us having a conversation. Like, my boys will eat asparagus when I tell them it makes their pee green, so yes.
Okay. All right. I know this because we're talking to a bunch of moms here. This is not TMI. If it is, I'm sorry, but I had a conversation with the kids about their poop. Okay. Like, I'm like, okay, your poop should look like,
Yes. You can say it's okay.
Like, what? It should not look like, this. And I'm describing and showing them, look what it looks like. And then they have cool little cutesy cartoony things too, whether it's on Pinterest or in this awesome cookbook I have called Practical Paleo. Oh my gosh. I want to say that I modeled my website after it, but no, I didn't. It was just, I kind of treat it like my Bible of paleo nutrition now. But it shows these pictures of, your poop and why, what you're eating affects that. But seriously, our bowel movements are major indicators of how healthy we are and what we're eating, And so the kids love, I'm like, what would your poop look like today? She's like, and she describe it. I'm like, and then another day she'll come and she goes, Mom, it looked like a snake. It looked like a snake. And I'm like, that's awesome, but it's just, yeah, exactly. Like, and your kids best, like what's going to get them going. Mm-hmm. And now my daughter comes and she's 8 and she comes and she's like, I don't want that because it's not healthy. And and maybe it's something I'm offering her, but I'm not really thinking about it at the time. She's like, or it's totally fine. It's like yogurt or something, like Greek yogurt. And she's like, I think that's dairy, Mom. And that's not healthy for me. I'm like, girlfriend. So she will take things and run with it. My son will take things and run with it, but it's about exactly the conversations that we're having with them that are just precious and that stick with them, the things that stick with them. So I love it. So let's get moving on here. We're a little bit over time, so we got to wrap it up pretty quickly. So I don't know if you've had a chance to think about this one, Sarah, but what would you say to the mom who is discouraged because maybe the rest of her family is not on board with changing their diet? What would you say to her?
Yeah, and we've all been here. This is when I really had to think about, because I had to think about what I did, because there wasn't always a season when, so, referencing my first article, there was a season when, because of my health, we had to take dairy out of our diet, but my husband didn't have to, and we didn't have to take it out for my youngest son. And so, how did we work that? I'm trying to remember like what that was like for us, but one is, you have a responsibility for yourself. If you know what's good for yourself and for your body, it's being that model, it's being that advocate for your family. And I think that as your kids and your husband see you maybe getting sick less, having this vitality in you and this, just radiance because you're glowing, because you're feeding yourself well, that inspires people. And, we can't ever think about, it's just like our witness with Jesus, right? That sometimes we may not be saying it out loud, but we know that our witness can speak volumes. And so it's letting that witness of your diet speak to your family. And, then it's taking baby steps. And we talk about this in the next article that's coming out. Maybe it's small changes, but maybe you're going from taking I can't believe it's not butter to grass-fed butter. Maybe you're taking the meat that your husband's eating and you're trying to find a better option for your family. Maybe you're looking for grass-fed meat. Maybe you're looking for organic. So you're not necessarily taking things away, but just making some small tweaks. And you'd be surprised how on board they can be for some of those small tweaks. And then maybe it's not taking anything out, but maybe it's just adding more. And we talk about this as well in the article of, if your husband doesn't want to change their diet or their kids, and they want to eat their staples, well, then maybe just make them an extra salad to go with their dinner, or giving them an extra side of, vegetables, like those Brussels sprouts. Like, we love those. So, it's hard sometimes when we focus on cutting things out, when we don't think about all the things that we can add in. So if you're just making it available and letting them see you eat that way, I bet you'd be really surprised at the changes that you see.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And a big thing with us too, and even our self-control, or my self-control as a mother, is not providing any other options, and it's hard, and it may be a battle, but this is where the wills come together, and really the rubber is going to meet the road, where I'm only preparing this. You don't get another option. Or sometimes I'll do, my husband got early in our marriage, he's like, why do you serve garlic bread with spaghetti? Like, why are we eating carbs on top of carbs? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, that's the traditional like Italian meal, I guess. And but to think about it, like, and last night we made a spinach lasagna with a side of broccoli, or otherwise I would have put a salad, but no bread. And because my kids would have stuffed themselves on bread, and so so what we're putting in front of their face, yes, we have to model it. I love that. And my husband trusts me more with my new idea or my new diet or whatever when he sees me doing it. And I'm not here, like you said, you're not mothering your husband. You do what you need to do for you. Model it for your kids, and I, it just doesn't work otherwise, we have to stop So my husband tells me I have to stop talking about what you're going to do and do it. Okay. You know?
Don't pass me around.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sarah. I wanted to leave the last couple minutes here open for any questions that any of you ladies have. I see 3 of you are here. If you have any questions, let us know. If not, just do this and say I'm good.
Yeah, you can put them in the chat. If you guys have any questions.
Okay. Oh, do I need to click that?
Oh, look at these beautiful faces.
So as we kind of end here, if there are no questions, let us know if you think of one. But again, my blog, my website is practicalfamily.org. We're about building strong foundations and healthy homes. So began this blog last year, still on that journey of just partnering with other mothers. And so this is the first interview. This is the first live interview that I've ever done with my friend Sarah Jonsgaard, who's in Colorado. I'm over here in Hawaii, but technology is amazing, and we get to talk like this now and have other ladies join in. So if you have a chance, go to practicalfamily.org, check it out. Leave me some comments or any kind of feedback or questions that you or ideas for topics that you may want to see on a site like that. I'm also on Facebook at Practical Family, Instagram, Practical Family. And then Sarah, I'll let you talk about where to find you. Go ahead.
I have to remember all the taglines. I wish it was as easy as I have this one name everywhere.
Right.
But most important, you can find me on, I can't tell you what any of them are, but my website.
You're so funny. Well, Sarah is a wellness coach, and she works with Juice Plus and Tower Gardens. And why I asked her to come on is she actually wrote an initial article for us at Practical Family, so you can go and find her in the Living Whole series. Her first article is called How Real Food Revitalized My Family. And the second article coming out today, if I can get it edited in time, is called Eating Real Food. So she talks about a lot of the things we've talked about in the interview today in that article. And she'll also be writing, I think, 2 more for us too, talking about practical tips on how to start eating clean, eating real food. And then also about how to grow a tower garden. If you've never ever considered growing your own food, which I had never did before, this girl has inspired me to want to grow real food because these tower gardens are so easy. So I look at them and I can do that. I can put that anywhere. You can put it in your tiny apartment. So I'm excited to do more with Sarah. So thank you for joining us today. This will also be recorded and put on practicalfamily.org and our social media sites so that you can listen in later. Thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to leave comments below or on the social media, wherever you are right now, and let us know where you are. Tell us your story, and if you have any questions about what you want to see in the future, that'd be awesome. So,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.